days. We ain't seen him in the month of Sunday. So what? See, they too busy talking to people outside the window.
Outside.
I get zero love.
Outside.
I get zero love. As soon as somebody walk past, they be like, "Oh, forget him."
It has been a while.
And now we have Tory Lowe. What's going on?
Hey, what's happening then?
So we ain't gotta have you on the radio now because you're on the radio now.
Right.
So instead of
hey, however you want to make it, we here. We got here.
Here. I don't mean to sound mean when I say this, but is anybody just tired of politics? Like, I'm just tired. I am literally at a point now, and I don't really care what anybody thinks about it. I don't care who wins. Can we get to November 6th?
I am, I'm immersed in politics. So
no, that's your problem.
It's my job. So,
well, technically, is it your job or is it?
It's my job.
Well, you're not elected.
I'm not elected, but politics is.
Is it?
It is.
Nah, I think you work for it. I think you.
What do you think? I just answered the phone?
I think you a yellow hat city.
You think I just answer the phone and return emails?
Operator LZ at
you think I just do that?
Yeah.
No, let's not have that discussion because I do much more.
Oh, forget all that. Look. Forget all that administrative. Forget all that administrative stuff and running back and forth and making sure everything stays in place and making sure the calendar is done and making sure constituents. That's just little stuff you can do, right?
Yeah, that's little.
But that's what most people think, that when you are an aide to alderman or somebody in the House of Representatives, they think that job is just like, secretarial. You just kind of type stuff up and you're done.
Right.
It is so broad because it's like it's actually worse. You're almost the shadow,
right?
Where you got to like keep directing and pointing the person in the right way to get stuff done.
There's other duties as assigned. And when you have those other duties as assigned, you're doing everything. You're doing a little bit of everything.
But the problem is they're rarely assigned because you have to think ahead to get it done. So
that's why I like you, brother.
So it don't come up.
You feel me.
Yeah, I feel you.
You putting out fires before they even start.
Yes.
And so that's
potential fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're putting out fire. You see it coming because the person that's elected is in the moment right there. Right. So you have to look 2 or 3 steps ahead and see, well, if we go down this, they in the moment. They they got to deal with the people in their face.
I got my issue, but they got everything.
Yeah. But back to your question. I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of getting text messages.
Oh,
if Kamala, if they scream at me one more time, like I was saying the other day, I was on air. They screamed at me. They sent me a text and was like, "We sent you 7 text messages.
You got them too,
and you haven't responded.
You have not responded." I said, "That's because I'm not because I don't like you anymore. Man. Goodbye."
It's overkill at this point. I understand they want her, and they don't want to drop the ball like Clinton did when she was running against.
She didn't drop the ball.
She did. She kind of did.
She never picked it up. So you have to pick it up to drop it. She never.
She had it.
She didn't.
She had it in her hand.
We're not going to live in the past.
She could have made it to the end zone, and she didn't.
We're not going to live in the past.
All right.
She tripped.
What I'm saying is they don't want to have an election day.
That's true.
Where they think they're surprised at what happened. Right. They know what can happen.
But somebody going to be surprised.
Who's going to be surprised?
Somebody going to be surprised.
I don't think Trump and them really going to be surprised.
Listen, it don't matter.
I'm amazed he's still this close.
Because if local politics isn't taken care of, is anybody going to really care who's in the White House? No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the key thing.
That's the key.
I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people, I shouldn't say we, but a lot of people don't understand is that we get all jazzed up and celebrate the fact that Kamala brought in $1 billion, right, since she announced that Trump brought in $800 million, right? And the thing is that on a federal level, they can do things, right? Like we see in the state, and we see the importance of, when we had Scott Walker and us getting Foxconn, regardless how you feel about Foxconn, the reason why we got Foxconn is because Trump was president, Scott Walker was governor, and, as our state went red, and you work with those governors that help your state. And then we flip that now when it comes to the fact that, this state has gotten a lot of money in Wisconsin from the Biden administration. Why? It's because we have Tony Evers as the governor, and it's a blue state. That's why different things happening with the roads. That's why he was here talking about infrastructure last week, right? Yep. And so that's understanding how it trickle down, but on a day-to-day, that what impacts MPS, what impacts your garbage getting picked up, what impacts your tax dollars.
Reckless driving.
Yeah, that all happens on a local level. So we need to make sure that we're putting as much energy and time into what's going on and who we elected to make sure that if Brother Elsie's gonna have a job, we need to make sure that they doing what they supposed to do, right? Like that should be the thing. That should be it, right? Instead of us yelling and screaming about Kamala and Trump, we should be yelling and screaming about the Common Council. We should be yelling and screaming about the state elected officials.
About a flag that nobody cares about.
Ridiculous.
That is look at this piece of junk.
Biggest waste of our tax dollars is them talking about a flag.
So watch this. Is it the sunrise over the lake, or is it the sunset after the lake?
It doesn't matter to me.
Watch this. That's why.
No, but for real, it doesn't matter to me.
Makes no
We waste a lot of
sense
time and resources on stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And I'll say my last little piece is that unfortunately, we waste time on stuff like that because those who are negatively impacted in the city, the majority.
We can pick up the flag before I get hollered at.
The majority in this state, the majority in this city of Milwaukee, unfortunately doesn't have any control or any power. So when white folks, and I said white folks care about a flag, they want to push a flag forward. That is what their initiative is. Instead of their initiative being making sure our kids are being educated, their initiative is making sure people have jobs in industry.
You mean traffic cameras?
Well,
okay.
So that's my
bad.
And the debate on that flag has been heavy. It's been heavy.
It's been stupid.
Damn flag.
It's been heavy.
Stupid.
Well, I'll say this: the last time I went to City Hall, we was talking about the recall, and they in the middle of the tundra, they had like 8 flags sitting there in a bucket. And I don't know what type of I just picked up all 8 flags and asked people what this flag. It's flags everywhere now, and I don't even know what the meaning is. I'm just like, okay, I guess it's
sunrise over the lake.
And then you got the Milwaukee flag, but I'm talking about it's like some more flags. It's like down at City Hall at the Tundra that I trying to get people to help me understand what these flags mean because they in the City Hall and I don't even know what they mean.
They must have been having an exhibit or something. That's what they put They put all the exhibits in the rotunda.
Okay.
And so they must have been.
It could have been something.
Okay, you're not working.
Well, he asked the question. This is what I do.
I'm just asking the
and
question.
he asked the question, and I can answer it, so I'm going to answer
You
it.
see how that hand come out?
This is what I do. And like me and Tori was just talking beforehand, and we were saying that the biggest problem with our people is educating them on what each branch does, what local government does. Civics.
Ooh,
that is an important piece that is missing.
They don't teach that, do they?
They don't even teach. We don't even graduate. You know what I realized is that
even though the branches of government.
when I was coming through the community, when I came back home from Minnesota, that's all you know about. They heavily political over there, heavily political in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
I was living out there, so I understood a lot about their politics. I came home and people didn't even know who the alderman was. It was very little understanding of who does what, and then sometimes they'll have a problem and they'll take it to the wrong elected official,
as usual.
And so it's like, okay, we have to realize that civics is not being taught in our schools.
Not at all.
But I did realize that when I came home, that a lot of the aldermen, they didn't have a college degree. They had high school degrees, but, and maybe they went to college, had some college, But they were able to run a township off of just a high school experience.
Well, Walker didn't have a college degree.
But you should be able to.
But you know what I'm saying?
It's open.
It's one of those. I have to say it, having multiple degrees. It's an elitist thing when you think somebody like to be in the U.S. House of Representatives. People think you have to be a lawyer. No, you don't. It's the biggest waste of money. But we have this thing in our mind. The laws are written simple enough in order to be able to do that.
Right.
Benjamin, what's going on, brother?
It's amazing.
So, oh wow, come on, you got to do better than that. I need some energy.
Look at Ben,
He did it all at did it all at 12 noon. So now he.
No, really, I'm sitting here soaking up all the information. We're talking about flags, we're talking about civics, and we're talking about the importance of ultimately the American dream, right? Like right now we got like 25 days left before we elect Donald Trump or Kamala Harris to become the president of the United States. And we're kind of talking about from how the top quite. Honestly affects the bottom. One thing that you guys were speaking of when it comes down to, what we need to worry about our local politics, but we have to worry about who's going to be the United States president. Sometimes people don't realize how the top affects the bottom, but it truly does when we talk about the influence of what goes down. Because notoriously, what we know to be a lie, Donald Trump got up on a platform before and talked to us as if the Haitians were, eating the cats, eating the dogs, and then
they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
But here's the problem, though.
Springfield,
but here's the problem with that.
Okay, what's the problem?
Where'd it come from?
It came from your boy.
No, it didn't.
It came from your boy.
No, it did not. No, it did not.
All right, let's
No,
go.
it didn't.
Let's go.
Watch this. If people understood what's going on at that level,
then talk about it.
came
Say it.
from the Russian place that puts out a lot of the memes we have here. You know, you hear about.
That's not what
Let me
JD Vance
finish.
said.
Let me finish. You heard about all the fights down in Texas, right? When the liberal folks showed up with the skinheads and all that, it was on 60 Minutes. They tracked this company in Russia that put out memes, put out flyers from people you think you could track and say they're real, and they weren't.
So
they actually came in. The social engineering came in and told both sets of people there's a rally at 3rd Street Market.
Oh, I remember that.
Outside.
I remember
and then
that.
everybody showed up. The fight breaks out. People get shot, fighting, run over, all this. And they sit back and laugh because they're just causing disinformation.
Well, isn't that
Exactly.
irresponsible on a level of Vice President of the United States and President of the United States?
And
to get
liberals
up on
have done it too.
No,
Exactly.
get up on a platform
Exactly.
and to spread something that you haven't confirmed, right?
But
if we did it here, right?
But again,
we get questioned.
it came
here.
from an American address.
No,
See,
no.
But
But
let me
hold on.
How far back are you going to go to check it? That's my question.
Yeah,
Well, then
but don't you
I
have
thought it
the-
started with the lady that said some of her cats was missing.
See, and
No.
wow.
Again, those stories were never
Fact check.
validated or fact
So why are we, if it's not fact checked, then why are we accusing a whole race of people in a place of Springfield of doing
Because of-
something,
oh,
something like that?
Because
right?
that's what the thing
But
said.
that's so unsafe for.
It's confirmation bias.
But no, but that's
if
my whole-
somebody said that Kamala Harris did
Kid,
such and such,
kid,
all the Republicans
It's the,
don't believe it.
it's the influence from the top to the bottom, though.
But
You
if
know,
you do it, it's one thing if I'm sitting here out in the market hall talking to somebody. It's another thing to do it with 65 million people watching, where you hear it, they may actually think that is true, which then puts people like the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, in danger because they had to cancel school.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with
and
that.
So that's the dangerous thing, and so that's just irresponsible.
But it's on both sides, and that's the
I
problem.
understand that, but we talking about the Haitian. He's talking about the Haitian incident, and that's just irresponsible.
Absolutely. And so what we get to is that, and Ben, I have to woefully disagree with you, that we want everybody spending all of our time on national everything. As the cities quietly do this, and all the rural people move back into the city, and then you're going to look up, and in about 10 years, most major metropolitan cities that are fairly liberal are going to flip from black to white.
Gentrification, but along those same lines, if I could tell anyone if they could have to choose, should I focus on federal stuff?
Well, you shouldn't have to. You should.
I'm just saying,
It should be a balance.
If you had to choose, if it's hypothetical now, if you had to choose, which one? If I got 4 hours to spend,
But it's a fool's choice.
If I got 4 hours to spend, I would tell them to spend that 4 hours on learning local politics first. Because if you can learn local politics, then that's going to affect you faster than anything that's done on the national level.
And it's duplicated on the state and
it's
federal level.
right
take
outside
stuff
your
that's
door.
working.
It makes complete sense. It's right outside your door.
I'll say this, and that's the reason why Tory's so impactful locally is because I don't hear Tory talking about, I went to Tammy Baldwin or I went to Ron Johnson to go get all that. Tory focused on working on the people here, right? And that's how we actually get change that impacts Dr. Ken, Dame LZ, Kyle Wallace, Benjamin, DJ Brother Z, and Tory Lowe is when you go to the state legislature and you work with both sides because at the end of the day, it don't matter what color you vote for. It's about impacting the black folks.
Right.
And
the
white
thing
folks
is,
too.
I think that results.
Hispanics to everybody.
The thing is, our community
Good
just
catch.
needs results, and I think that for a long time, a lot of people was just able to talk their way out of it, or make.
Well, technically, they talked their way into it and then didn't do
however
anything.
you want to look at it. But at the end of the day, when I'm sitting at a table, when somebody says something about hope, I leave because I don't want a hope conversation. I want to. This is the plan. This is how we're going to execute it, and by this time we want to see an outcome. And this is what everybody else is doing, But in our community, we get swayed by the dangling of the carrot, and many times we say, "Well, why didn't we get that?" Well, we're allowing talk to trump action. And when we start letting action speak louder than words, that's when the real change is going to come. We got to hold people to task.
Absolutely, and that comes with the educating our people, because once we educate our people and let them know that action is the way to get anything done. People talk all day.
Right.
You know, people can say whatever they want to say. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But are you going to check up on that person in 2 weeks to see if they've done that? Are you going to check up on that person, that campaign promise that they've made to make sure that they've done that?
You don't get worried about that. They'll check back with you in 4 years when it's re-election time.
And the thing is,
but even when they come back, we're not asking them. When they come back to our door, a lot of people don't. And I love people that do this. I love people that hold us accountable. Yep. People that call me and be like, I called you 3 weeks ago about this light that was out. It's still out. What you doing about it? Yep. I don't get mad. Yep. I'm like, excellent. Let me get on that. That should have been taken care of because I need that push as well. Right. When they come back to your door in 4 years, if they said they was going to do something, remember that. Remember them flyers that they've put in your door. Remember them flyers that they sent out that had all of the list of things they were going to do. And if they haven't done none of that, then don't
but many times people will come behind you and they'll say, well, you just don't understand how politics works. You don't understand. I had somebody come to my door, said they were running for state rep. I said, okay, I'm asking you one thing. Are you going to finish your term? What do you mean? It's only 2 years. Everybody I see around here, I'm new to Milwaukee. Everybody I see around here, nobody finishes their term. Mm-hmm. They're only here to get to there, to get to there. Can you finish your term? I promise you, I am going to finish my term. This person got midway, ran for the Senate. I called him. Hey, I want to meet you in your office. I drove to Madison. Hey, you lied. You said you weren't going to run for Senate, and now you're running for Senate when I asked you where you're going to finish, and you didn't. And then they said what? You don't understand politics. They insulted me. And I'll tell you who that person is on break.
And that was the creation of Dr. Ken Harris.
Sure was. Burned me to no end.
Let me ask you on this then. How do we go about trusting these politicians, especially when we talk about something that affects the city of Milwaukee, quite frankly, when we're talking about the infrastructure bill? One of the biggest promises of the infrastructure bill is a 75-year plan that's going to replace the lead laterals here.
Well, I think they tried to get it down to 10.
10 years?
Wasn't a recent talk to replace the lead laterals in 10 years?
Yeah, they said 10 years. I'm sure you may be able to.
But we started this, and I'm going to tell you something else off the air. We started because we got to take a break. We started this how many years ago? 15 years ago?
It was longer than that.
Man.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
I've been out here talking about them lead laterals.
It's been longer than that.
And they started it, and they stopped it. And then they started again, and they stopped it, and now they're back.
Yeah.
So you're listening to Truth on Politics. Man, them kids will be 100 years old by the time we get the lead laterals replaced.
We won't even know if they actually even did it because we'd be gone.
We got Tory Lowe, Benjamin, Kyle Wallace.
Just going to say Sherwin Hughes is on CNN right now.
And Sherwin Hughes is on CNN. That's why he was lazy and didn't want to come in and see us. But that's okay. And Dame Elsie, when we come back, did y'all know that it's supposed to be freezing tomorrow? Like overnight?
Yeah.
Like you're going to wake up to frost? Did y'all know that?
It was 45 today.
No. Did you hear what I just said?
I ain't worried about
frost. They're telling you, hey, your grass ain't gonna stop. Your grass gonna stop growing overnight because it's too nice.
That's fine with me. No more having to cut. Gonna turn my heat on.
Laziness. You're listening to Truth on Politics.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
You are listening to The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
You're listening to Truth on Politics. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tory Lowe.
Hey.
Benjamin.
It's amazing.
What's your name again? I ain't seen him in so long.
You just call me Kyle.
Just call me Kyle. Kyle Wallace. And, of course, the infamous... Are we going to call him Dame? Or
That's what I call him, Dame.
You can call me Dame.
Dame Elzy.
Yeah.
Just call him DE.
Well, that works as well. I go by many monikers. Rap guy. You know, it's like the Wu-Tang. I got many rap names. I got many names, you know. Dame LZ, DLZ, Damian LZ, DE.
Markina on the talking text line says, do not call me from any numbers. Do it again, and the other party will get my vote. Do not call me with a different number. Or numbers also, period. Just don't call me.
Just don't call me.
Because I'm getting tired of people calling. And then somebody said, evening to all of you positive black leaders. Great discussion tonight with no hitting below the belt. Protect yourself at all times. Support your facts. Now let's get it on. Please discuss the Obama quote on black men. Some agree. Some have no problem with it. What do you think?
Let's discuss.
That's somebody that's been listening to the radio.
So
appreciate
there are a number of black men that feel disenfranchised from the Democratic Party. I have heard people say that they are feeling that way because they're misogynistic and they don't like women. I think that is the most base, idiotic answer to something of people, because now what you're saying is that as a black man, you don't have a right to complain about any woman because you're instantly misogynistic. That is ridiculous to me. I can actually have a legitimate beef, but what you're saying is, oh no, you can't do that across genders because you're automatically wrong.
Mm.
I just think that we're still having the same battle that the people that came before us had when it comes to political maturity and how when they come to the black community, they don't think a black man can speak genuinely how he feel about.
But black people are the ones saying it, Tory.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm gonna let you finish, but black people are saying it.
I'm gonna finish my whole thought first, then I'll answer you. What I'm saying is that when I listen to Malcolm X and he talk about how we are political footballs and we're the swing vote between the Democrat and Republican Party, I think in 2024 I think what I'm hearing is people talking down to specifically black men. And I get offended by that because then you're saying that we need to be, it's like 20 days or 30 days left and you're telling me we don't understand what's going on or we need to be coached this late in the game. We need you to understand what you need to do. And to me, that's offensive. And it's happening right in front of everybody in America. And so when we walk outside, all the other races, all the other men, they won't say that to them, but then they're looking at us because we're allowing it to happen. And to me, that has to stop because they're saying that you're not capable of voting correctly. And to me, that's disturbing.
But why can't we defend ourselves?
We do.
No, but why can't we? Why are we called misogynistic? Why is it you just don't like her as a woman? Like, what is that? And I've heard people say that on this station.
Yeah, no, I guess my thing overall when I look at it, I don't think it's so much of not liking women. It's just people have a preference for a candidate. And I think just like when you talk to women.
No, that's not a preference for a candidate telling me that I'm misogynistic because I'm disagreeing with a woman.
He's saying those that are being called that.
They have a preference for a candidate. You're not. Well, that's what I'm saying is that I just think that people shouldn't be called misogynistic. They should be. They just have a preference, right? But overall, I do believe that. Because we're black people, we don't hear other things going on because there are white women that get called out by other white women about the fact that they're
on national TV. I haven't heard it.
It was.
I haven't heard no.
Let him finish.
You say you haven't heard. You don't. But the thing is, have you?
We're gonna fight the second hour.
Have you looked for it, right?
Yeah.
And so overall, okay. If you say you look for it, so overall, for me, my thing is this: is that I think the approach of saying that it's because you don't like women is something that's bad, but I think what got lost is the other valid points that were made as well, right? And I think the other valid points just in the sense of the other option, right? And we talk about other option, the other option in Obama's perspective and many people's perspective is something that as a black man, it may have to be tough to vote for somebody like that, right? That was his whole thing. Now, the misogynistic thing about women, I totally disagree with that because black men voted for Hillary Clinton at a very, very high level. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. But I will say my personal experiences is the one thing that I hate the most is on my timeline. I got a lot of friends. Matter of fact, one of my friends called me during the show. And the thing that I hate on my timeline is I have a lot of non-voters who are black men who say they hate Trump and they hate Kamala, right? So that's cool. I could care less who you hate. But for some reason, they only drag Kamala. And I say, well, what about Trump? Well, he's crazy. I said, so we want to drag the black woman down, but we don't want to drag the white man down.
But now you're doing what other people did with misogynistic, and you're making the assumption that they did it because she's a black woman.
No.
And that's not necessarily true.
It's not an assumption because it's factual. Because if you don't like both candidates, right? You say they're both trash. No, listen.
No.
How is that? No. If you say both candidates are trash, I hate them both.
You're making the assumption they did it because she was black.
No. I'm not. That's what you said. I'm not making an assumption because they're black. What I'm saying is, I think it's messed up that you say you hate both candidates.
Right.
If you hate both candidates, why are you only dragging one constantly on my timeline? Meanwhile, when I say, well, what about this other candidate? Well, we already know he's bad. So wait a minute. We want to publicly drag the black woman down, but we don't publicly drag the white man down.
Why don't you just say they're dragging?
No. Well, again, this is my.
But why don't you just say they're dragging the vice president?
They drag Trump every day.
I can go to my.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of.
But are they supporters of Kamala Harris or no?
All I see is they dragging both of them.
Okay, so exactly that's my point.
I believe it's a large amount of dragging during elections.
So what you're saying is you want more authenticity than if you're going to back somebody, say so.
If you hate both candidates, why are you only dragging down one candidate that happens to look like you?
Well, again, when you put that in there, you're doing the same misogyny
I'm not doing the same.
That's the reason.
Yes, you are.
I think that's the reason why you drag her, because she looks like you. She's speaking to you. She's supposed to be speaking for you, and she's not doing it in the way that you want her to do it. I don't care what Trump says. Trump isn't speaking to me. He's not speaking for me. So what I have to say doesn't matter. It's not even going to affect him. It's not even going to dent him because he doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care what I'm talking about. But her, she looks like me. She's supposed to be speaking for me. So I'm going to hold her accountable to make sure that she is indeed speaking for me and speaking to me in a way that I feel is appropriate.
But now, you can't, as a black man, hold her accountable because you're being misogynistic.
Going back to Obama, I had no problem with Obama speaking his mind and saying what he said.
True.
Now, what he may have said, but the misogynistic stuff, I may not agree with that. But the fact that Obama is speaking to black men, he's a black man. So he can do that.
But he don't represent us.
He has that right.
But he don't represent us.
Why doesn't he represent us?
Because he was the president of the United States.
So what?
He has significantly more power than most black men. He don't represent us. Let's be real.
That should be a good thing.
You don't get to tell me I'm tripping.
Yes, he does. Everybody knows.
What I say?
All I'm saying
it's my show and I'm
it's not your show.
Y'all sitting in the captain's seat
But I do want to ask y'all this though: Do y'all believe that any bit of self-interest is playing into the idea of why they're quote unquote saying that black men aren't supporting Kamala Harris as they would like Kamala Harris to?
Because they need to see themselves in what she's saying, and they don't. Then when you put it out, it's so flimsy. It's like they'll take anything.
The fact that they're labeling it as misogynistic when the point is Kamala Harris was a police. She's a cop.
No,
She was a top cop.
She was a prosecutor. She was
a
not
prosecutor.
A cop.
No offense
Thank you.
to
That's
the
an
cop
offense.
president.
That's offense.
But she was
His blood is blue.
and as black men, we do not have an affinity for the police. Is that? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna connect those two. That's
Can we
tough.
agree on that?
Can we agree on that, Dr. Kidd?
We can agree on
Dr.
that,
Kidd,
but what we
Dr.
can't
Kidd,
agree on is that she was a top cop.
Can we agree
Because
on
she
that?
was. I already said yes.
All I'm saying is there are many other issues that black men can have with Kamala that isn't misogynistic that they aren't pointing to. You know what I'm saying? And to just say it's misogynistic is wrong. But there are those out here that have those feelings. I've seen them.
Well, the most
but
people
to
I
just
talk
lump
to,
us together
they
is
just
wrong.
don't like the border ideas. They don't like what's going on with the kids. We talk about this all the time when I'm out here, when I'm dealing with advocates that work in black communities. It's a lot of things internally that's going on in our communities that has nothing to do with identity politics. And sometimes you just don't like the agenda of the left. And some people just don't like the agenda of the right. And some people always want to make these conversations head to the head of these ideas. Only thing Kamala Harris is the head of the Democratic Party, which is what we call the left. All Trump is the head of the Republican idea, which we call the right. Now, it comes a time where we voted left, and then we it's like a swing state, like Wisconsin. If whoever fits where we want to go, that's where we're going to go. And I think I see more and more black men voting according to their agendas and ideas. Not that it's an identity idea with Kamala. I think that they just don't like what's happening.
But we've done
in the
that
schools.
for decades.
Well, I think that most of the time we have voted on the left at 80%. So,
but why is that?
But what I'm saying is, it's
that's
because
a whole other question.
Now they're looking at the numbers, and Obama and them are looking at the numbers, and they're not getting the same numbers that Obama had.
got, yeah.
So now they're getting worried because what's happening here. So here come the attack or the call out on black men, and that's that's what I see is going on.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Tori, because like honestly, this whole conversation comes off the idea or fact that again, a lot of black men aren't supporting Kamala Harris like that.
Honestly, I hate the word a lot because she's gonna win 75+% of the black male vote.
Which you want to bet? Anyway,
I don't think so. But okay.
We can put it out
That's
there.
a nice open
Go right
dream.
ahead. Kamala Harris, we'll see on election day.
Kamala Harris just unveiled new policy proposals aimed at black men,
Did you
which
read
includes providing $1 million loans to black entrepreneurs, creating more black male mentor programs, and a health initiative for diseases like prostate cancer.
We already have all that.
Well, do you guys believe that this
So
idea
you just
will
gave me
sway-
something we already have.
Oh, I didn't know we had the forgivable loans that were geared toward black entrepreneurs to start.
Most states have forgivable
Did they
loans.
forgive the student
Am I
loans?
right?
Student loans already?
They tried.
So if the federal government gives me a
Why
loan,
weren't the student loans forgiven? What happened?
and it's only 20.
Who no, for real. Why weren't student loans forgiven?
It was blocked by the feds. It was blocked by the judge.
What
They just recently got that overturned.
833-212-1017. Blue states,
No,
like
it's
they're
red
doing
states
it
that
now.
blocked it. It was not blue states.
833. I don't even know what y'all talking about. I'm just causing trouble. 833-212-1017 is the number. You're listening to Truth on Politics. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next. Truth Nation, the election is less than a month away, and we are excited about another episode of The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This show engages in a thoughtful debate on the local and national elections and the policies which impact our black communities the most. Do not miss The Truth on Politics on Tuesday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, Ben Jamin, Damian Elzie, and Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth and streaming live on YouTube.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Sybaris Pool Suites. Romantic, luxurious, affordable. A place where romance touches paradise and the memories of a lifetime are made. Sybaris offers a variety of room styles, including the exquisite Chalet Suite, which spans 3 levels and features your own private swimming pool with cascading waterfall, soothing whirlpool tub, a cozy fireplace, and much more to make your stay unforgettable. They are located in Mequon, just north of Milwaukee. Take a virtual tour at Sybaris.com.
More of The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next.
First of all, you're listening Truth on Politics. If you're not old enough to have been alive in the 1970s,
they have a thing
what
called
I would were you
Google.
alive in the 70s?
Google.
Dude, Google is not a source.
Google.
Google is not a source.
Well, I got the University
Oh my
of
God!
Cal-
Did you go to
internet.
college? Did you go to college?
It's the internet.
Did you go to
know I went
college?
Why would you ask me that?
So then you
It's the
should know
internet.
that the Google is not a
Google it.
source.
What they gonna look
You
up?
should be
You want to
embarrassed.
look up literary journals now?
You're the one
we
telling
write
me.
master's papers. Google it.
Talking about Reagan in the 1950s when
they
he was
didn't
an
even hear
actor.
the conversation.
And
we just jump in
dude.
talking.
That's what we do.
Hey, listen.
That's what you do
here.
every morning when you on.
They hear the conversation. Listen,
1966.
We were talking about how the colleges and whatnot, and we were talking about forgivable loans, and I mentioned that the process of keeping colleges segregated came about because of a policy Reagan did in California. Y'all out there in Truth
And I
Nation,
asked you to prove it.
Google it. I ain't got the time right now to Google it.
Time out.
I Google
We
it,
don't.
though.
What do you mean you don't have time?
Because I'm talking to you.
I did Google it.
He's
And
so full of it.
the background of it is that in California, Reagan, I believe in
What's the
1966, he published, this is University of Cal Irvine.
Thank you.
And so basically what happened is that it seemed like, you know, how everything is, politics took over. It said Reagan referred to student protesters as brats, freaks, and cowardly fascists. In an interview with San Francisco Chronicle, Reagan's education advisor Roger A. Freeman stated, "We are in danger of producing educated proletariat." Proletariat, thank you so much.
Proletariat.
That's dynamite. We have to be selective on who we allow to go through the education system. This belief has shaped higher education to become a privilege of upper class with
Them liberal
tuition.
folks.
Before
He didn't
Reagan
become a
became
Republican till
governor
later.
of California, tuition was free for California residents.
If y'all can see my hand on YouTube, I'm pointing to Kyle
But
Wallace,
listen to what you
and
said.
I'm saying he just verified.
That's
off
just
of
California.
Google,
That's just California.
but it shaped the way that the country dealt. Everything.
It was
we
never
just sat
free
here-
anywhere else.
We just sat here and said all politics is local and it starts locally. So if something happens
You're
locally
missing
and
the
it
point.
works, they take it nationally. It worked.
They didn't take it nationally because
There
it
you go.
wasn't free.
There you go.
Do we
Okay.
want free tuition?
I do.
Okay.
I want that for reparation. I want my
Time
kids.
out.
I got
You're
4
making
kids
a
in college.
blame
I
and you're
want it to be
making a
free.
connection to something that's
college-
literally
the
not
connection is
connected.
there.
College should not be free. It should not be free whatsoever. And based off your
Why not?
based off your
Who's gonna pay for it?
maybe some schools can make it and they can figure it out. But I feel like college tuition shouldn't be free because
should not.
If we got
there's a cost.
If we got enough money to pay for Ukraine to fight a war, pay for Israel to fight a war,
It
pay
won't
for
make a
anybody
dent
else that
in
want to be
colleges
on our
that we
side
have
to
in
fight a
America.
war, we got enough money to send babies to college for free.
No, we don't.
And I'm a little biased because I got 3 in college, one that's about to go.
Spend some money,
If
Negro.
you got enough to do all of that, then you got enough to spend people. That's what my reparations.
true.
If I could have reparations, I want people to have free education.
But I've already said that. If you're going to give reparations, give everybody, if they reach a certain mark that can't change for 30 years, you have to have this grade point average, and you have to have this, and then you can get this.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Because you have to have some. You have to have some
Hold
skin
on.
in the game.
Okay, so
you have to have.
all right.
something.
All I'm saying is let's have a real conversation right
This is a real conversation.
Well, let's have a real conversation about putting restrictions on black people and their money.
I don't.
Okay, all I'm saying is this.
There we go.
If the undocumented people can come over here and get funding, schooling, housing.
That's true.
Nobody said it was no meeting. I never seen nothing on C-SPAN or no subcommittee discussing none of this. They already have a way to eat, live, get resources and all of this. Where was we at when all of these discussions?
what
stepped
happened?
over a lot of homeless people to help immigrants
but
live
you know what happened? This
live
is why
in hotels they got thrown out of.
we talked about. It's important to understand is that this money is allocated by the federal government. So all this stuff here is stuff that we should have been screaming and hollering about a long time ago, right?
But we don't care. We just feel
we
good
don't
that the
pay. And
person
so,
in office-
and so that's
Wait a
and so that's
minute.
the
Y'all
thing.
act like
So
we
the
ain't
money,
been- we got. Hold on.
the money didn't come out the thin
Hold
air,
on,
right?
wait a
It was
minute.
allocated.
No.
That's locally funded.
Hold on.
money,
What
though.
I'm saying is
what he's talking about is locally
What I'm
funded.
saying is that
Allocated for it.
when we have to go through a process, they tell us to go write up a plan, get the statistics, do the research, get everything together, and then set it on the table. And
Well, you got to
figure it
start a
out.
nonprofit first.
So I didn't see none of this for explaining why these undocumented people. See, we always get the alley-oop and somebody then dunked in our face. And the thing is, it's more examples out here now of how it's really being done because it's an example out here now of people who don't even have to have paperwork to get the money.
And a phone.
And so all I'm saying is, what is that? If we're going to have the conversation about blacks and reparations, we don't have to go through nothing. Just give us the money and let us figure it out.
You know what that shows us? You know what that tells you? They want them here. They don't want us here.
I agree.
I don't know if you can make that assumption.
Why can't you? They give
You
them
can't
money.
make that leap.
I 100% agree.
You can't make that leap.
Demographics is changing.
You
They
can't
want
make
them
that
here. They
leap.
want them to change the way that they vote. They want them to vote more conservative. They want them to vote certain ways.
And liberals are the ones bringing them in. Listen to what you're saying.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
But see, what I'm saying is, Republicans and Democrats both play for the same team.
don't go to both.
They
Don't
play
do
the
that.
same team. One play
Don't do
offense, one
that.
play defense. They
Don't
play
do
the same
that.
team.
Don't do that. Time out. Don't do that. Don't go both. Whenever somebody jacks you and you liberal, all of a sudden you go to the middle.
I ain't liberal. Don't call me liberal.
Go
I'm black.
And I know who you work for. They go.
He ain't liberal either.
They go. Inside joke. They go and they want them here because they expect that if liberals are in office, they're going to vote liberal for the rest of their life.
I'm gonna tell you that now. It ain't working.
First of all, they can't vote.
Duh. But what I'm saying
some
is,
cities and states are trying to pass, like Washington, D.C., trying to pass laws to allow them to get driver's licenses and register to vote without being a citizen.
So my question is this.
That's the problem.
My question is this then.
That's crazy.
Why aren't we more upset that we've had multiple opportunities in our history in the last decade to try to get a comprehensive immigration bill put passed? Why aren't we more upset that it hasn't been done?
Because they put so much crap in the immigration bill that they know it won't get passed.
James Lankford, a Republican, is the one that came up with the bill, and then you had
But
a bill.
if you look at what the Democrats put in the bill, it was so much ridiculousness.
It had 60
and
plus
pork.
votes. It had 60 plus votes
I'm
to pass
just
the
telling
Senate.
you.
It had 60 plus votes to pass the Senate. In 2013, Obama worked with the Republicans where they had 68 votes, I think, in the Senate. But John Boehner didn't want to take it because he said, "Well, I don't have the votes to do it." So we can't.
John Boehner's an idiot. That's why he's not the speaker anymore.
But the thing is that they don't want to. This is a political thing.
Correct.
That's what, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most is that I am somebody who definitely wants to close the borders. Right? I think it is ridiculous, and I think it's disappointing that the Biden administration waited until election time to decide to start having more strict things on the borders, and that's
But
why
it wasn't really strict.
That's why you see border.
But it wasn't really strict.
That's a bunch of.
It's
You know
not-
what? Let me
but
tell you.
wait a minute.
No, wait a minute.
Border-
Let him
Y'all-
finish. No, let him finish.
That's trash.
Wait, how's it
Let
trash?
him finish.
How's it trash?
No.
it's
Finish what
trash.
you're saying.
Border crossings have been since I believe July or August. Border crossings have consistently gone
Kyle,
down, and that was until
But
Biden.
with
That
all
was
due
until Biden
respect,
decided to be
Kyle.
more strict.
Kyle,
My goodness.
I'm telling you, you can't bring 10,000 people in here today. You can only bring 5. That's not slowing something down.
No, they said they would. They said that if it ever got to 5, they would completely stop the border in that bill. That's exactly
the bill,
what they said.
it did not.
The bill said.
The bill
James
said that the
Lankford wrote
president.
the bill.
Let me give you the language. Let me give you the language. Let me give you the language. The language says that if it gets to 5,000 per day,
they shut the border.
No, it said the president may.
No, it didn't. With the law,
it said may.
It said
Google
automatic
it
shutdown.
and look at it. It's not an
I'm telling you
automatic
what I read.
shutdown.
So do we want more immigrants? Do we want more
Wait a minute.
in the country?
Let me tell you something.
Unless they come legally.
If they come through
Apply.
the
That's
way
all.
that they're supposed
legally.
to come through, I don't mind because I don't knock nobody for trying to get a better life for their family. But at the same time, when it's flooding and they're being directed in black communities where resources are given that we've been fighting for, like land that we wanted, things that we were using, we're being kicked out of. then people are going to raise an eyebrow about a lot of this because a lot of this is flooding black communities.
So what's the solution, right?
The solution is you got to go back and
say no.
Should we be mad at the immigrants that are? Should we be mad at the immigrants that, like you just said,
Should we be mad
at the immigrants, like you just said, that want to come in, or should we be mad at the policymakers that are making it so that they can come in?
Exactly.
I'm not mad at somebody that wants the better life for themselves.
That's what I said.
And I'm not going to allow that division to happen between minorities. I'm not going to let that fester.
Let's not do the blanket.
That's our problem.
But let's not do the blanket thing and say they all coming in for a better life, because that's not true.
Well, come on, man.
You and I both know that's not true.
Come on, man.
You think a majority
as
of
much drugs?
What are they coming here for then?
As much drugs.
Whether they selling drugs or they selling whatever, they coming to get
you gonna
more money
listen,
doing
or you gonna keep talking before we go to break?
Do you think the majority is coming in now? What's the majority?
I think the majority of them do want a good life.
Yeah.
The problem is we're letting the riffraff and the criminals and the drugs in with
sound like JD
So
Vance
you
right
have
now,
to find out. Watch your mouth.
All I'm gonna say is
I'm just saying.
Our problem is.
But is that what happened?
When we get involved in something, we include everybody, but they don't include us.
They never include us.
And
What is
so
that?
I don't like that
That's all I'm
because
saying.
we have to.
I'm just saying.
It's nothing happening in America that a black man is not standing in front of. But what I'm saying is, when we need the help, where is the reciprocity?
They don't want to give us help.
No, I'm talking
But
about
the fact that you're okay with them helping
I don't
immigrants
think
who
we should,
aren't even citizens, that's crazy to me.
I don't think we should even feel ashamed for asking what we need for our community at this point, because we didn't help everybody in that's breathing on the planet.
It.
So what I'm saying is, it's a time that comes where we can look around and say, okay, we have stood for everybody, but who's gonna stand for us? Because our children are being miseducated. We have broken families that we need to address.
I agree.
During these times where everything is high, we have 70% single women households with kids in it suffering right now because they don't have the full, complete dynamic of a family household. And everybody seems to be winning in a certain degree on certain levels. And we're at the bottom of the base trying to survive. And to me, we don't owe nobody an apology for what we trying to do to heal our community. So I don't like conjoining my ideas right now with nobody.
You're listening to Truth on Politics. That was the great Tory Lowe. I think he got more to come after the break. Benjamin, you all right over there?
It's amazing.
Being quiet.
Kyle Wallace.
Hey. I was in the chat. Somebody gave me a kissy face and the name was John. I was making sure it wasn't no man.
It is. Click the page.
Oh, okay. Well, it is what it is. I love everybody.
Well,
Dame?
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. We gonna take a break. I'm phenomenal. We're going to take a break.
You sound like a commercial over there, though, sometimes. I'm just saying.
That's my job. It's called facilitating. I know you're not used to it. But I put up with
fired.
That wasn't a shot. Let me show you a shot. On break, we're going to show you a shot. No, I'm just You're listening to Truth on Politics. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next.
Everywhere in America, families are struggling with an all-too-common problem.
She missed school again.
Again?
Something is going on. She's secretive.
Should we check her backpack?
When you suspect a family member has a substance use disorder, it's hard to know what to do next.
We need to talk to her.
Starting the conversation is the first step to getting help. Visit SAMHSA at samhsa.gov/families for tips. Or for treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Saving energy and money is easier than you think. Here are 2 simple things you can do to reduce your energy use and lower your energy bill. Use thermal curtains to reduce each room's energy loss by up to 25%, and make sure vents aren't blocked by furniture or rugs to improve airflow and comfort. Simple, smart savings. Get more energy-saving tips at WeEnergies.com.
The Greater Milwaukee Urban League is celebrating 105 years of legacy and impact. The 105th year milestone community engagement campaign is a mission-driven effort to support employment, education, advocacy, and entrepreneurship initiatives. Together, they can continue their impact and legacy. Join them in raising $1.5 million. Text 105 to 41444 to make a secure online donation today. Visit TMU.org for more information.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives, from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Yo. Wow.
You're listening to We're Losing It. 8 minutes before the top of the hour.
Let
Tori Lowe, you had some profound statements that you needed to make. But before you go, I want to remind people you can stream and watch us live on YouTube at 1017thetruth.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a minute of, oh my God, this live show called Truth on Politics. Tori.
Well, the thing was, we was talking about the open border situation, and my brother Dame said, he's not mad at nobody for getting a better life, to trying to find themselves a better way in life. And I'm not either. I don't think that's the case. But what I can get mad at is that when you were fighting for a better life, the black man was standing by your side.
There you go.
The black man, so I can hold you accountable to a certain degree because I put blood, sweat, and tears in your movement too.
There you go.
And so when we need things, where is everybody else at?
Now that's like I was saying in the break. That's the point.
We got sweat equity in almost every movement that took place in the last how many hundreds,
That's the point right there.
So what I'm saying is the black man may not, we may feel like you deserve to get a better life, but at the same time, when we need something, we put sweat equity in you getting better life. Where's our support?
When we do something, we want you to stand with us as well. Yeah. And what's happening now in recent times, even in the Proud Boys and all that stuff, you got a lot of brown people that are spewing racist stuff and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So we fought for you to be here. We fought for you to get a leg up in here because of our civil rights activism, because of all of the things that we did on the backs of black men and black women. But now we need your help, and you running over there want to carry torches and be with the Proud Boys.
We do not want to be the battering ram.
That's the pivotal point.
We don't want to be the battering ram for no more causes. It's our turn to take action and address the issues in our community.
And to me, that's the most important point.
If we put sweat equity in your movement, it's time for you to give back.
That's the most important point.
That's great, but unfortunately, they not gonna give back
because the people that's taking it, that's sitting in the room, not allowing, just allowing whatever to happen to happen.
We've been voting Democrat the whole time.
The thing is,
and they haven't given back.
And so
and nobody wants to badmouth.
So this is what makes me
badmouth. Who's
the Democratic Party?
I'm Democrat and Republican.
See again, when somebody talks about Democrat, everybody who's really liberal always says Democrat and Republican.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a real question?
He his hand.
My question is this: is that to me, if you are trying to win over somebody's vote, why don't you actually come up with real policies to try to win over a vote, right? Instead of unfortunately what the Republicans unfortunately do is they rather say, oh, they do you so bad, but they don't say, but this is what we're gonna do for you. They say, oh, look at that, this, but they don't say.
Yeah, they do say what you're gonna do for you. And I know people will say you're supporting Republicans,
I'm
not.
Let me know,
but
because
they put out stuff.
I know in the national station. I listen to my radio station that we all have here.
I didn't say radio station.
No, I'm just saying they're not even financially supporting us right now, right? They're not even sending money to try to talk to us. They're not even trying to talk. They not all these. I want Republicans to come on here to talk on our station. But all I get is people from the left trying to hit me up. Why are you not trying to hit
because
up?
Because the left will take advantage of you.
It's a Democratic town.
It doesn't matter.
But yes, it does matter. It matters a great deal.
Why don't you want to talk to constituents?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
We understand
this. See, this is where
we got 1 minute.
Okay, you just told me.
I know where I'm at. I know that this is a Democratic township. So if I think anything different outside of the status quo, I'm gonna be attacked.
Yep.
Jesus will get attacked at this point.
Make inroads.
All I'm saying is, regardless of what's going on, we can't depend on the politics. We got to depend on you.
We have to depend on politics, Tori.
No, hold on,
because
wait a minute.
Money influences
That's a part
politics.
of the game of life.
45
and if
seconds.
you're not using your politics for leverage, you losing anyway.
And that's why we losing here in
If you're not going to get no
Milwaukee.
leverage, if you're not getting leverage for your vote, you lost.
That's why we losing here in Milwaukee. You look at the teachers union. You think the teachers union is supported by a whole bunch
But it's
of
a
black
Democratic
folks?
city.
It's supported by a whole bunch
what are
of
we getting?
liberal white people that want to get the upper hand. That's why I said I don't like the Democrats here locally whatsoever.
You're listening to Truth on Politics. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. When we come back at the top of the hour, more for you.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by Basketball Hall of Famer and exec Joe Dumars. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Tap into Milwaukee's most entertaining morning show.
Telly was getting frustrated because he couldn't connect to Wi-Fi, and he was like, Tony said, "Oh, crud." I was like,
wow.
crud? Oh, crud. Crud knuckles.
And Tony get all of my words on the golf course because I don't curse, and if I do something wrong, my go-to word is fudge.
Listen to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. The election season is upon us, and now is the time to have real, in-depth conversations about who can make impactful change for the Black community. Join us now as we engage in a thoughtful discussion which will explore the challenges and opportunities facing our community and nation. This is The Truth on Politics on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here are your hosts, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, Ben Jammin, Damian Elzie, and Kyle Wallace.
You're listening to Truth on Politics. Dr. Ken Harris. What's going on, DJ Brother Z?
What's up?
Appreciate you. He's moderating all this. Take a break. You got 1 minute. Because you know when we get to that point, he's just going to cut everybody's mic off and play the commercial. He like, hey, dude, we not doing that.
That's some funky music right there.
Commissioned.
It's commissioned.
That's what I'm.
So
that's
you had
the
somebody
music.
actually play that and record that.
That's the music I'm using for my new open.
Oh, okay. Then I like
it's trash.
Oh wow.
Hey, look at the moderator. Look how King's supposed to be moderator. Get back here. Look how the moderator acted on this.
Ben ain't said nothing in 10 minutes.
See, this was wrong right now. Oh wow.
He said is that the police culture you talking about?
This police culture right here. Oh wow.
He looked down, man, as usual. Hey, look though, my brother ain't said nothing in 10 minutes, but he woke up to say that's trash.
Oh wow. I'm just saying, if he don't say nothing else,
he don't say nothing else.
I gotta talk about crime. Hey,
you didn't trash or punk nobody else. You punked me.
Oh wow.
And if you punk, you better be ready to be punked back.
I'm trying to figure out how we pushing the culture forward.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to figure out how we building a better future for
Ben ain't said nothing. He been quiet, letting us talk, but he ain't gonna let that slide. No, we are not finna listen to the Bill Cosby music.
That is not Bill Cosby music.
That was the
what are you
second
talking about?
season.
I actually like the song personally.
That wasn't. That wasn't from Bill Cosby. What are y'all talking about?
I know it was. It just, see, I'm ribbing. In black culture, we rib, we make fun.
Right.
And so I'm making fun of it.
Are you talking to me like I'm not black?
That's the joke
You're going to bring the cop out in me.
That's the joke.
Look, you're going to bring the cop out in me.
See, there we go. The blue gonna come out. We're making fun of the nature of the music, and it sounds like it should have a Bill Cosby sweater on.
Right.
Wow.
It makes me want to put a Cosby sweater on.
Why don't everybody just put a Cosby sweater on?
It's cold.
I'm just saying.
Here comes the Spanish fly.
Oh, God. I knew it was coming. I was throwing it to you, Ben. I was throwing that lob up.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Somebody said, please moderate instead of talking over everyone. Moderators shouldn't overtake the conversation.
I try to beat that.
When have I overtaken?
That was the Sherwinator.
I know, that's some.
Is Sherwin again? Is that Sharon?
Sherwin again.
Is that him? Is that actually him, or is that somebody?
Nah, that's somebody else.
That's somebody using his name? Okay.
He's always talking over people, cutting them off.
I didn't know if that was him or not.
So watch this. Day one on the radio. I don't know how to help people. Your fault you wasn't listening when I keep saying that over and over again. People talk over me, I talk over them. It's called a conversation. You ever have a conversation where you literally wait for somebody else to finish before you start thinking about what you want to say and say it? No. But for some reason, people think that.
Well.
I think there's ways to conduct
it's our show.
Three people just talked over me.
What else?
You paused.
You paused.
No, I didn't.
We waited to interject. We all polite.
What we got next?
It's double dutch. You wait. Okay,
then you
pause.
hop in.
I'm going to jump in.
But I didn't even pause that long. I took a breath.
It was a
The way you
can't even breathe.
The way you gotta rate is kin to police brutality. Right?
I can't even breathe.
Pause.
Man, take your behind back to Racine.
But you know what though? I do got a question for all
Yes,
y'all
sir.
because one of my concerns that I haven't even heard in this whole presidential campaign is the idea of police brutality, especially in the recent cases of like Sonia Massey. We haven't heard anything from either party, Donald Trump nor Kamala Harris. Does that bother you all? Does it sway the?
Well, I think they already used that up the last election cycle.
And they scared of what it might do.
And Black Lives Matter. I also have never heard them say Black Lives Matter in this election cycle either.
Very true.
But also in Sonia Massey's case, he got arrested and charged. So what exactly do you want people to say?
It's not much you can say.
There's not a lot you can say.
Well, Donald Trump is going on the narrative saying that if he becomes president, it's going to be a police immunity.
It's not.
He wants to continue.
The police already have limited immunity.
What's it called?
It's just limited immunity.
They have some. There's some
qualified immunity.
It's qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity, and
so it's limited. So there's no.
He wants to continue that. And
so he can't make police.
But you should. Otherwise, you won't have police. Like the people don't even understand.
Well, I'm saying,
do you understand qualified immunity?
Do you think police officers have qualified immunity?
They already have it. They've always had it.
They shouldn't have it.
Listen to what I'm saying. Do you know what it is?
Just because they have it don't mean they should.
Answer my question. Do you know what it is?
I know what it is, but they shouldn't have it.
Tell me what it is.
The qualified immunity is that
Tell me what it is.
Certain things that the police officers do, they can't be charged for.
No.
What is it then?
Qualified immunity only says that when you act under the color of law within the rules, procedures, and laws and state and federal, that when you're acting legally, you can't be charged. If you act illegally,
ain't that what I just said?
No, it's not.
Just because you threw words in don't mean it ain't the same
Listen
thing.
to what I'm
saying.
saying.
I have the talent of breaking it down. You leveled it up, and that's cool.
Okay,
but
repeat what you said, because that's garbage.
I
Repeat
broke
what
it
you
down.
said. No, you
I broke
didn't.
it down.
No, you didn't.
The police can't be charged if they're
that's not true.
If they're doing something, so they can say anything is I'm doing it under legally at the police.
You have to have evidence. You got to have DNA. You have to have all those things. Like, what are you even talking about?
Get out of here.
So you don't know how long you been a cop?
Get out of here.
How long you been a cop?
I ain't been
so
a
you
cop,
don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever used
just because I ain't been a cop don't mean I don't know what police officers do.
No.
Qualified immunity.
But do you understand what qualified immunity is for?
Well, I think-
Stop talking.
It needs to go.
Qualified immunity. Stop. You want to fight, Bo?
I'm gonna keep talking, Debo.
All right, so as the person that people come to sue and try to get some
Tory Lowe,
justice, I feel that they already have a certain length of leeway as a cop. But I have lived to see,
what?
Well, you know, certain situations we prosecute, depending on the incident, they're not going to be prosecuted. But certain situations that take place where it's overwhelming, and sometimes it just got to be overwhelming evidence, and then some cops are starting to get charged. But I think that in America, when we look at the whole cop situation, we have to go back to the root of policing and work our way up to today.
No.
And well, yeah, because you got to go back how it started to where it is now. I think that now
It's kin.
yeah, I mean,
it's related.
I think that now,
idea,
when you look at
concept.
policing, a lot of people are demanding accountability because I got to use the police to help me in the community with human trafficking. A lot of the detectives have referred families to come my way so I can help. So, like I said, but we got to get that straightened out because we do have an issue where the city got sued with stop and frisk. You know, where they were pulling over black people and they were saying that they were just, you know, however they were doing it, but
Was legally doing it.
That's what they were saying. But then they lost
There was a lawsuit that they did
lost
something.
the lawsuit
And got hit with
but
sanctions.
It got the sanctions, but we haven't even got all the sanctions together with.
They still making reports about
because
all
if
of that
you
stuff.
knew what they were, well, anyway, you don't really want to hear a unbiased, because I'm not working there, example of why that when they set that in motion, it was never going to work, because it's only set up to get paid. It's not set up to actually work. So when people come in with a consent decree, some of the limitations they put on the department, no department where they have one in America that the ACLU has sued has been able to comply because it is so outlandish. Nobody can comply with it.
Is it so outlandish, or is our police department so far away from being legally justifiably
I just told
right
you that
towards
did I
black
say
people
that?
and the poor
No, they're
people
not.
that they can never reach it?
No, they're not.
and the
Because
thing
if you
is-
go back and if you read and look at what they are, you yourself, because you work in city government, you have a copy of it, download it, and read it, and you'll find there's no way you can. So we're talking about officers
they
that might
agree-
get.
hold on, when
we're talking
you
about officers. I'm
agree-
not done yet. We're talking about officers that get suspended for a week.
Here we go.
For saying accidentally, when they looked at the person that was on the pavement that had passed away and broadcast that it was a woman and it was a man, or it was a man and it was a woman, because they used the wrong terminology, didn't check with the family, do they call themselves this or that, are they gay, straight, whatever, you get a week off without pay.
All right.
I believe that
That is the kind of stuff that they have to do.
Don't say that is the whole thing. I believe that
I
to
didn't
be
say it's the whole thing. I said that's an
So you
example.
would sit here and just say,
I
like
said
we were talking
example.
about the immigrants. You said all immigrants ain't coming just for that.
I said example.
That's a far-fetched fringe example of what
I'm
that
trying to be like
ACLU
you today.
There we go.
That's a far-fetched fringe example
trying
of
to
what
be
the
like-
ACLU was trying to do.
And that's
I'm
what
not
you
trying
live.
to. I got, you know.
Come on, Tony.
All I'm gonna say is this: at the end of
trying
the
to take
day,
over as
at the end
moderator.
of the day, we got to start making sure, because there's people that work inside the police departments that black men that have issues inside. That's why we got the League of Martin. You know what I'm saying is, we got to fix the structure because transparency is the goal. I think that most people would say we can't live without having the police in the community because crime exists.
Correct.
But where the lack of transparency comes in, and the mistrust creeps in from the lack of transparency, from some of these
Transparency in what
rogue
way?
ideas, from, and I don't know, a lot of people give a lot of leeway to officers who having a bad day. You know what I mean? And they got a badge and a gun, and they may have some issues. But at the end of the day, we got to try to fix that system. And I think more than ever, now than ever, we're starting to challenge fixing that policing system. So when somebody says, okay, somebody has immunity or they're going to have qualified immunities.
That's not how it works.
That's how it always been. They always had that. I think now we're starting to have the discussions about it. But at the end of the day, like you said, color of law. If they're operating in a certain frame, they could get away with the qualified immunity. But I've seen where officers are starting to now, with the whistleblower protections that we've installed, I think that they're starting to come forward and stand against a lot of the behaviors inside these districts. And this is where I challenge the officers, the good cops, the quote-unquote good cops. When you're in these districts, help us just like you asking us to help you to weed out these bad apples and take a stand. But I think that many times the blue wall of silence, a lot of those cops may be afraid of what is inside those districts too. So I think that we all have to come together and say, hey, look, are we trying to make the community better, or are we trying to make excuses for bad actors and try to hide this behavior? And I think the answer is more people are going to start coming forward and talking about it and exposing what's going on inside the districts.
Yeah, you know what? It's so crazy that we're having this whole conversation right now when we talk about, police and what we really are looking for with police. But, my biggest question even comes down to this, how are we going about, Tori, you talk about this all the time, reforming and reshaping, right. Our communities. And the police happens to be, a big part of enforcing our safety. Are we still 4 years later, looking towards defunding the police, or are we looking for, other policing ideas that can actually help?
I was never for defunding the police.
But let's listen. I was. But let's listen what defund the police means. Defund the police does not mean take the police out of the neighborhood.
Is it reallocating funds?
Reallocating some of the police. It means stripping it down and reforming the police like they did in Camden, New Jersey, like they did in those other places where.
And they went back to the way it was.
No, come on, brother. What it means is taking it down and stripping it down to the bare essentials and building it back up. The police department, as it is set up now, and like Tori was going into, the history of the police department and from where it came from, it's already the poison is in there. So you have to defund it, get the poison out, build it back up in a proper way. Now, how did they want to do that? They wanted to do that with the George Floyd bill. But what happened with the George Floyd bill? It never got passed, right? And what happened to it not getting passed? It went past the House. It got to the Senate. A Democrat stopped it from being passed where his issue was with qualified immunity. Going back to what I said earlier, both sides
You're not getting rid of qualified immunity.
Both sides play for the same team.
It's interesting.
Defense and offense.
But
you're not getting rid of it
that way, Dan, because like you said, we need to kind of deconstruct and then rebuild. One thing that people are, throwing out when it comes down to Donald Trump and quote unquote Project 2025 is the idea that he wants to, strip the Constitution, right? Wants to remake a brand new Constitution. Is that what we need for this America here? Do we need a new Constitution for the future of America? We have so many different ideologies that are residing here in America, so many different cultures trying to mix and trying to move forward. However, it seems like, our past comes back to haunt us time and time again.
I don't think we need a new Constitution. I just think we need to make sure that everybody's included in that language for the Constitution. When they made it, they don't thinking about us. They want to think about the Mexicans that was coming across the border. We have to make sure that we get the same rights as everyone else.
Those Mexicans, though. It seems to apply for the Asians that are.
We need to make sure
I'll
that
say
we get
this
the same rights.
Getting back to police immunity, because this is the thing that disgusts me is the fact that when I hear people talk about full police immunity, I understand what that impact has on us because we understand use of force. Like in a place you talked about DC earlier, in a place like in a place like DC,
that's what you call that?
94% of the use of force is against black folks, right? So when I hear people talk about have police immunity, I think about a Jay Anderson, right? I think about a Philando Castro who was in Minnesota. And got shot and killed, right? Like when I hear stuff like that, it makes me upset. It makes me bad because I understand if we have full police immunity or even having that conversation out there, that conversation.
There is no full police immunity.
But you have a potential candidate that said he wants full police immunity.
He can't do it.
But even having a conversation, think about it. You put that into the air. What happens? You have a lot of people who believe, we want to have safer and we need to have full police immunity. What do you mean? That's what we all get.
That's my opinion.
Okay,
really?
that's fine.
We thought they couldn't repeal Roe vs. Wade.
But regardless of that, my thing is this: is that language we cannot allow that language to come out because that language negatively impacts black folks the most because we are disproportionately impacted with use of force across this country, right here, even in the city of Milwaukee. So we just can't allow for that language to happen.
Then you need to be taught and understand what it is and stop going off half-cocked on misinformation.
He said full immunity.
That's not true. You're not going to get full immunity.
Well, tell them don't say that.
Only prosecutors have full immunity.
Tell them that, please, because
that's part of the problem.
I don't want people thinking that police can get full immunity.
Part of the problem is that the prosecutor can decide, I'm not going to bother. So the black woman that needs help, right? And we decide that I know your husband beat you, but we just decided we're not going to prosecute him. That's why women in Milwaukee are dead today. Because guys got out of jail, weren't notified, and they end up killing their wives or spouses or significant.
As Tori said, the DA, prosecutors, trash here in Milwaukee.
But the point I'm trying to make is this.
Absolutely.
They are the ones that have unlimited immunity, and we forget that, and then we want to go off. Now, who would go you would not do your job if you didn't have insurance. That's all qualified immunity is. Insurance.
I did my job. I worked
You
part-time
remove
here
it.
with no insurance.
Well,
I did work part-time here with no insurance. No, I didn't get it. I think my
wrong kind of insurance.
I guess my only issue with this is the fact that I understand it's important to have some protections, but I'm with Tori
or else
on
nobody
this.
will do the job.
Well, I think the important thing is that we need more people to stand up and be able to go against
And they do.
the blue wall side.
And
not,
they do.
Not
Listen,
enough.
if you're talking to one that did.
And I appreciate you for that.
If you're
Dr.
if you're calling to be a police officer, it's based on the fact that you get qualified immunity to bust people over the head,
missing the point.
to shoot people in
That's
the leg,
dumb.
to go up in people's booty holes like they was doing here. If that's your reason to be a police officer, then you're not the type of police officer we want.
And
that's
then
why we
you're not the type of black man, because if you just wanted to be a black man so you could be a criminal and a robber and a drug dealer and shoot people and drive, well, no, that's what you're saying about all cops. You just said it about cops.
I didn't say that about. I said if you're the type of cop that's the reason why. No, you were saying how. Wait a minute. Now you were saying if that's the type of cop. If you were saying how are we going to recruit people if we can't give them the insurance of quality? And then I'm saying,
people aren't doing that.
So the equation you just made right there was ridiculous and so far off.
Oh, so I say you're ridiculous.
I can't even see it.
Oh, so I can't say you're ridiculous, but when you say I'm ridiculous, we're not getting back to the point. We're going to break.
Nobody. The police need to get out of here. They need to defund the police, build it back up properly.
You can't.
Why can't they? Did it in other places.
You don't understand. Where?
It's too big to fail.
Where?
It's too. I just told.
Don't put words in my mouth.
In Camden, New Jersey.
Nobody cares about a little itty bitty Camden, New Jersey.
It's the same size as Milwaukee.
It's in America.
It's America. It's a major city. What I'm saying is, you make all of those officers reapply. And then you weed out the ones that have been causing the troubles. Right now, they're too embedded in. They're too. The federal government says that the biggest fear they have is within the police department. The police department and the
what
KKK
the Justice Department been doing? Oh, okay.
Come on,
you are
man.
blind.
Well, I'll say this:
you are blind.
Until we can start getting
raising your voice.
I think if we don't defund the police,
I am saying something. I got to talk over you. My fault, Tori.
We have to make an effort to do community policing to where the people that look like the people in the community are the majority of the people that police that community. That would help. No. I don't know if it'll end a lot of things, but it would help because sometimes when I see video, I watch a lot of body cam video. And when I see things that are happening in suburbs, when a cop approach, they can relate to what they're seeing because they have dealt with it with the uncles, the aunties. They live in those environments, so they may not take an aggressive approach to that. But I've also seen people come into our communities, and I wouldn't have did that to that person because I understand the environment that we're living in. I know how to approach that because I'm living here. So some people may overreact due to the cultural differences.
You're talking about Dontrell Willis. What happened to in Red Arrow Park? That's exactly
so to me, community policing is a must. And that's why when they had the reform going on in Madison, I was on the board up in Madison because I wanted to, if we're not going to get anything out of this, I wanted to get whistleblower protections for the police officers and COs that really want to come forward without retaliation, because that is another way to really help lessen a lot of this stuff that's going on by the good brothers and sisters inside these
I wish
districts.
they would have implemented that.
They already got it.
Well, they already got it. They strengthened it. They actually strengthened it.
They've already had.
Well, they already added more stuff to it.
You keep saying they already had this stuff, but then it ain't working, so something ain't right about it.
So the thing is, what we have to do
listen to let me tell you.
The thing what we have to do as a people is we have to challenge our brothers and sisters that's in these departments to weed out the bad apples. If you're a good cop and you don't want to be mentioned amongst the riffraff, then chances are you're going to see somebody acting weird before we do. Because by the time we see it, something didn't happen in the streets.
It's too late.
So what I'm saying is this is where it's a conjoined effort, just like when a homicide takes place, everybody wanted, hey, we need the community. Okay, we also need you officers to make sure that when something goes on that you can pick up early detection inside these departments. If y'all can do that for us too, that'll be a good thing to bring.
They already got it.
Well, absolutely. I'm just saying that would be good for that to happen. That's on a consistent basis.
And so before we go to break, part of the issue is that instead of people actually going to the department and seeing what the training is and understanding what it is and going through it, they make all these assumptions and then they make all these suggestions, then they make all these statements, and then they say nothing happened because it's already there. They just never take the time to look for it to find out what it is. they always tag the cop in relation to the bad ones. You know, the way the media does black men, as all black men are criminals and all this. I guess that's, you know, something that you can do with cops, but you can't do it with black men. Like, it's this disconnect that we always paint cops as looking at the worst of them and saying it's all of them.
Well,
and that's unfortunate.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, transparency is there when people try to tell you how to get transparency, how to go through, how to.
It's supposed to moderate. What's up with moderation?
I don't think so.
Well, it goes both ways. When you holler at me, I got to answer back. You ask me about being a cop.
I don't agree with that equation.
Well, I don't care. I'm just
struggles with the police.
Again, you're not listening. But
I think we're trying to be safe.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Break.
Yeah.
Yo, neck.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next.
Discover Epic Moves Studio at 3815 West Fond du Lac Avenue right here in Milwaukee. From group workouts and dance sessions to photography shoots, book signings, and birthdays, they've got the space for you. Need a stage? They offer rentals for all of your interior and exterior events. Pricing varies by size and time. Join the community and connect at www.epicmoves414.com or call 347-559-7355. Epic Moves Studio, where your next event comes to life. Craving something mouthwatering? Head to Munchies, Milwaukee's finest quick service eatery. You'll love their gourmet egg rolls, wings, loaded fries, and fried fish. And don't miss their signature pasta dishes and soul food options. Plus, ask about their upcoming pound cake line. They're open Wednesday to Saturday, 12 to 6 p.m. Visit Munchies on site. Call in your order or get delivery. Follow Munchies on Facebook and Instagram at Munchies Detroit Style. Check out their website at munchiesdetroitstyle.com. Munchies, where your cravings meet satisfaction.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD, and many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do. Visit understood.org/the reason to get started.
Black men are the most likely Americans to die from lung cancer, and black people develop the disease earlier in life than others. Federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of black Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who smoke or used to smoke. If that's you, talk to a doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, visit acr.org/mylcs. That's acr.org/mylcs.
You are listening to The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Why not? Be a tough man. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't finish it on there.
Where'd you leave that cup, dude? You're listening to The Truth on Politics.
Hey, Dame, after the show, you know, he gonna have to get by the water cooler. You gotta meet Dr. Ken by the water cooler.
This my friend. We good. We good.
Yeah, we good. Dr. Ken and I have had many discussions and many.
Saying nothing new.
No, what it was is that dude was on GroupMe and went off during COVID. You remember that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What did I go off about?
Everybody went off on COVID. Everybody was cooped up inside, and then we got on Zoom, and everybody was all cool.
It seems like COVID was 10 years ago.
Don't it?
It was only like a couple of years ago.
Yep.
You know, it seems like everything happened so much happened during that the last 4 years.
It's really crazy because our community really hasn't changed yet. It's like we haven't caught up in anything. Our kids are behind still. It's a struggle to kind of bring the family back together. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but what can be done? We got the lead pipe deal. Like, why is it going to take another 10 years to get something that we should have had 30 years ago?
You ain't lying.
Now, I'll say this, right? When I had a different alderman, they got money and they started putting in lead pipes, right? Now, it's your lead lateral, right? It's from where your property starts to the curb, correct?
Right.
So when they came to my house, they did my lead lateral to the property, all the way to where the water goes into my house. The reason I know that is because the backhoe that they used on my sidewalk screwed up one of my squares, you know, and it's now sitting like this. And I called the city to come fix it, and they refused to fix it.
I'm sure they did.
Not realizing that had they fixed it, they probably would have went, oh, we got to take this pipe out too. So I have it from the house all the way to the curb. They did 3 houses on my block, and then they disappeared, and I haven't seen them since.
Well, what they're doing is they're calling it priority, and they are.
No, this is like 5-6 years ago.
Oh, I'm saying recently when they're bringing it back. Right. We said earlier, like you said earlier, it goes up, comes down, goes back.
Right.
Now it's called the priority engagement or something, whatever they're using, and they're going about. They have this great formula. It's always some big formula
that somebody else made. Right?
They got this great formula, and then that's how they're deciding which houses and which areas should get the lead piping removed. But the issue again is they only replacing it from, you know, up until the property line,
right?
And
which
so
makes no sense.
It makes no sense. So it's still lead going to
all the way to the house.
So jiggle jaggled all of this stuff, and it's lead in these.
So who's
pipes.
Responsible for your house though to repair something in your house? The government or you?
You are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that other part. So you can contract with that contractor that's repairing
same
that
contractor
lead piping
to just extend the pipe.
To extend it, but you got to pay for that.
Yeah, which for me, when I think about an investment, right, and we gonna really fret over maybe $5,000. I don't know how much it costs.
It's probably not going to cost that much.
So we're going to fret over, okay, less than that, $2,500, let's say, over my house having lead water? Is that what we really going to fret about?
If you're the homeowner. If you're not the homeowner.
That's what I'm saying. As a homeowner, you
what
should.
About the people in Racine that are still living with lead pipes that people are just, like, luckily we're a large enough city with a large enough big mouth legislators, but what about Racine? What about Kenosha? Where
we got to keep pushing towards that, right? Like that should be something we should be pushing for. The mayor of Racine, the county executive in Racine County or Kenosha County, they should be pushing forward to try to find some way to get funding, pushing forward to get those lead pipes removed.
So Ben, you're at an age where you can see, 10, 20 years in the future, where you can position yourself. You understand government and how it works. Where do you see Milwaukee or Racine in the next 15, 20 years?
Economically, or
pick your poison.
You know what? Honestly, I think that right now we're at a pivotal time in all of America. I think that, especially because where we at, southeastern Wisconsin, I believe that southeastern Wisconsin is going to be a metropolitan in the next 20, 30 years. That's what it's aiming for. That's what it's building this stuff up to become.
What do you mean by
that?
Metropolitan?
You gotta explain that.
What I mean by that is when you look up to our sister city, talking about Chicago, right? I'm not going to say it's going to be as big as Chicago, but it's going to be it's going to be as influential as Chicago. One of the main reasons I even believe that is because of the investment that it's going to have in regards to the future of technology, right? Like Microsoft's going to. It's already building up inside of Racine currently right now. Racine was already set to be one of the smart cities. Eventually it's going to be right up here in Milwaukee. Like, it's right up the street. So I believe that Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, all of it is going to be very industrialized, except for the new world that we'll all be living in digitally.
So do you think that gap between, because I was driving back from Racine last night, and I started to notice that I used to drive from Racine from Highway 20, and you could see like nothing.
Yeah, a bunch of fire.
Right now, it's lit all the way in Caledonia. So do you ever see that joining?
I do, and honestly, when we even talk about again the Microsoft influence here, we do know that Wisconsin has a bunch of farmland here in the state of Wisconsin. Like, it's tons of it, and that's why Bill Gates is buying up a lot of the farmland. And I don't know if it's going to be fortunate, but unfortunately, well, we might be used. The Wisconsinites might be used as guinea pigs, and going down the rabbit hole a little bit, but used as guinea pigs to test out
some of those things.
Yeah, test some of those things out.
Well, I got a question. Are we ready for all the technology, and are we prepared to be in those industries right now?
Black people? No.
As a community? No.
No.
Because this is about to take over. You've seen the robots.
It's
AI is
interesting.
they got the robots. They got.
I was listening to y'all show earlier, and they made a point. AI is like the new industrial revolution.
100%.
It's going to change everything.
We're literally creating a whole new world. Like, I was just talking about this, like you said, on General Juice between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. with my co-star Carrie Noni Juice. Yeah, had to. That's the homie, right? But no, we talk about all the time, like third world. We always talk about like third world, second world, and first world countries. Well, literally, we're creating the new first world. We're creating it with all these technologies that we're seeing. So, in regards to Elon Musk even introducing these new Optimus bots, the taxis, the cars, this is just the first. This is the first stage. It made me really think, like, how long it takes to introduce a society to new technologies before like they freak out and stuff, right? And I remember. It's 2024 now. 5 years ago, the Tesla self-driving car, or whatever, being introduced, and at that time, it was kind of shocking. Like, oh my God, you don't have to drive the car. The car can drive itself. Now it's just become normal to kind of see these. They
done worked out the bugs.
They done worked out the bugs, but also we have got comfortable with it, right? So 2 Chainz was down there at the Tesla bot thing or whatever, and he's buying one of these. He's buying one of these Optimus Prime bots or whatever.
I ain't trusting, so they choked me out.
Hey, it's happening. But I think Wisconsin's definitely going to be, on
the forefront.
Yeah, on the forefront of all these things happening for the rest of America.
But one of the things that's missing is this.
Oh, okay.
Something as simple as aspirin and Tylenol. Tylenol didn't break till the 80s. It had been around since the early 60s, right? So much of what we're seeing, it's been there. You've got that legislative push. Hey, we can't do that. Like, think about what would happen to the battery because we've already figured out how to run a car off water. Like, somebody has invented it. They go, oh, that's great. Let me buy that.
They die.
No.
That's a whole other conspiracy.
I'm going to buy it.
That's a whole other conspiracy.
And then it's going to get put over here. We're going to keep using these batteries because, we need the money.
Right.
Like, those types of technological changes are coming to the point where we've even found that using that kiosk at McDonald's, people are going to lose their job. Actually, it frees them up to do the other jobs. The problem is all of those jobs are menial. So you'll be moving a lot of boxes.
And the sandwich still ain't hot.
And the sandwich still ain't hot. So
I'm just saying.
So we think that people are going to be leveled up, but in fact, they're going to be leveled out or just down to lesser jobs.
And what I don't like about a lot of this technology is because when I was growing up, my grandmother, she was used to the rotary phone, but when the VCR came, she acted like she didn't know how to work it. So she gave me a lot of power as a young kid when the technology started changing for her. Yeah, because she kept having me do it, and she didn't want to do it. So I was like, man, I didn't want to grow up and be like that. When I got older, I wanted to make sure I was always up to date and up to speed on the technology, because when you don't move with what's happening, then you give a younger person, another generation, more authority
over you.
So I'm seeing a lot of these young people they're taking on the technology. They're adapting to it very well, but I also see a lot of the people my age and older, they're refusing to really check it out or actually see what it is. And eventually, in another 5 years, you may not be able to do a lot of things because a lot of this is going to be tagged to a lot of the AI technology that's out there.
So Kyle, Dame, what about designing it? What about fixing it?
The jobs
but
that
about because we've got the technology,
without a doubt.
and he's correct, but that's only half the picture.
Right.
We need people to actually be able to design it, fix it, expand it.
Well,
I don't see anybody that looks like us.
I would tell a young person get into like when I do my mentoring, I'm going to tell a young person get into technology, get into learning that stuff.
But learning what specifically? Because
I'm saying
we're learning how to use it, but we're not learning how to design it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Get into designing it. Get into learning coding it. Get into, but again, on the flip side of that is what AI is doing is it's putting a lot of those people who were doing those coding jobs and all of that stuff out of business because now AI can do the code. So everybody that went into to computer science, they losing jobs unless they upgrading their stuff because AI can do all of that stuff.
Now you can't charge nobody $2,000 for a website.
Yeah,
because all I got to do is go get the code.
AI can only do what it's programmed to do. You need to be the person that programs it.
But if I can just put in some prompts and tell it I want my website to do this, and it creates it, then I don't need that website.
But then you have to take two other steps and test it and out. So there's more to it, but where do we need to position ourselves in that space?
I agree with you,
know what I mean?
Dr. Ken. I think we definitely need to be the creators of it because one thing that you're talking about, again, when it comes down to the coding, you're still going to have some kind of human that knows to go in, hey, fix this bug. Like you have to figure out how to specialize yourself in each and every one of these newfound fields that we're currently creating. But I don't want to change the conversation too much, but again, on Jamming with Juice between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m., we were having a conversation, right, about technology, about it advancing, and one of the microcosms of the AI coming out is the idea that, a lot of people are always talking about, like, hey, it's going to take our jobs, and it'll free up our time to go and do other things, right? One idea that was permeated through, I believe, like an Andrew Yang, and a lot of people, Andrew Yang, I said Andrew Wang, and a lot of other people who would consider to be socialites, if you will, was the universal basic income idea. Us being black men, leaders of our communities, hopefully, being leaders of our households one day. How does that affect us if we do a universal basic income?
You hate the universal basic income idea?
We found out when we gave people free money, all they did is spend it. They didn't spend it. They didn't save it. They didn't invest it. So it was terrible. That's why the economy is what it is. Dr. Ken was on the long time.
We'll get back to that. But I want to go back to the AI stuff real quick. And so what I would tell people also is, we tell black people too many times, learn how to work within this business and do this. But I think we should look at how can you make money off of AI? What is your business that you can create that's going to use AI? Don't even worry. Sometimes you ain't got to worry about how it works. How can you get the money off of it? And that sometimes separates us from the other side.
And one of the arguments he made, and I think Ben did too, about how we move forward, and even with politics and all that, we're really not going to move forward unless we own the infrastructure. And I mean, think of a black person that owns an oil company. Think of a black person that owns a construction company that's big enough to do the construction that we need done here in the state of Wisconsin. Like we don't own energy companies. We don't own anything like We Energies. We don't own anything like nuclear power, oil, nothing. So all the things that move us, water, all the things that move an entire economy or region, they own.
And see, honestly, I'm not.
Should you own water though? I'm just gonna leave that there. Go ahead.
Maybe
somebody's making billions of dollars off of it, and we're not.
We should own bread too. But no.
I'm not disagreeing with you on this one.
To piggyback off of what Dr. Ken is even saying, the only person I'm seeing out here really moving technology is Elon Musk, and Bill Gates got out of the race, but I'm not seeing us there at the table, So my biggest thing, my biggest gripe about this is how do we go about democratizing this so any and everybody could, have a seat at the table? And you kind of asked Dan this earlier about how can we get at the forefront of this? How can we start pioneering what the new world is going to look like? And I think it's as simple as just start playing around with it, especially if you're a young child right now. Like, get the ChatGPTs of the world and start learning how to utilize that so you can all the ideas in your mind can be elevated and you can kind of speed up the process.
Well, I also say this: we need to control how it comes through our community as well too. And I think that every community, when they get their elected officials, if it's working right, okay, if you can have this over here, but we got to get X, Y, and Z from this.
Yeah. You're listening to Truth on Politics. When we come back, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. But we're going to go to Dame to see what he want to talk about. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube returns next.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
What's up, Troop Nation? It's your girl, Noni Juice, here for my friends at Steinhafels. And guess what? Steinhafels has everything you need to get your home ready for the holidays. Elegant dining sets, perfect for hosting family dinners, cozy bedrooms to relax and recharge after celebrations, and fireplaces to warm those cold winter nights. Plus, with Steinhafels' 18-month financing, getting your home ready for the holidays has never been easier. Steinhafels, helping you make the holidays special. Shop in-store or online at Steinhafels.com.
You are listening to The Truth on Politics on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
You're listening to The Truth on Politics. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Dame Elsie, what's going on, man?
What's happening, brother?
Kyle Wallace, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
He didn't get run off by the chat line?
No,
chat.
they playing with his dreads.
More like swept away?
Let's focus on the important
Benjamin!
It's amazing.
And Tori Lowe.
Hey, what's happening in?
So, you brought up something before about the 4-year piece. Yeah. Ask your question.
My question is, we were discussing this, and I think this is a valid question, is as to what have the Democrats who've had the House, who've had the presidency the last 4 years, and then what have they done for black people, and what can we point to that has been successful towards black people that has made our lives better these last 4 years, and what did Trump do his 4 years that made our lives as black people better?
The vaccine.
The vaccine. I don't know. I'm asking the question.
Hey, Tori Lowe.
Hey, look, I still don't got my student loans paid for, okay?
That's because you don't work in public service.
Why is that?
You don't work in public service and you got lied to.
You got to pay attention.
You got lied to.
You didn't get lied to. What happened was
I filed the application.
You know what happened was? I told you earlier. What happened was for that is that there was something that was passed. That's why we got to apply. But red states, not the governor, what is it? Not the DAs, but the state attorney generals had a lawsuit because they didn't want it to happen. And so I believe it was either Kansas or Missouri was the state that took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court leans a certain way, and the Supreme Court blocked it. That's why we didn't get that, which would have possibly impacted African Americans. Ken's talked about it on the show.
But do you understand why they said no?
I mean, listen.
Do you understand why
why don't they look for a way to say yes?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Why did they say no?
The Supreme Court said no because anything that has to do with school loans, Sally Mae, has to come through the House of Representatives. All financial.
So why won't the House of Representatives pass something for us?
Well, you need to go talk to them.
No, that's the problem. And see, let's be real. Republicans don't want to pass it.
But listen to what you're saying. When you go and do something like that, it's not going to pass muster, even if it was a liberal court.
If these red states,
because all appropriation comes through the House.
Come on, you think that liberal
this is money? 1.3
Have you seen the way these courts? A liberal court here in Wisconsin.
You can't put politics on top of what the law and the Constitution says.
Is there anything that the Democratic Party has done over the past 4 years
that's what y'all gonna answer? What do you think?
I don't know.
We just talked about
He didn't get it long.
Unemployment for black people in 2020 was 9.2%. It is now in 2024 6.3%.
No, it's 3.9% for
black people.
But do you understand what? Okay, go ahead.
And in 2020, also one number that you're missing from that is the fact that it was 6.1 before the pandemic hit. And now it's 3.9 for black people. That's for black people because the pandemic obviously inflated numbers, but still unemployment is lower for black men. Trump had it at 6
6 was down.
It's not 3.9.
But the 6 was down from
3.9 for black people.
But the 6 was down from being higher. That's what I'm saying. The 6 was down from being higher. COVID hit, it shot up, and then it went back down.
So did Trump do that, or did the Democrats do that?
Okay, the president don't drive unemployment anyway, so we need to stop giving it to Biden and
Trump.
Trump.
He got influence. Trump said he.
But everybody say that, but he can't control it. Like, you see what I'm saying? So
why do we allow those lies?
Because when we understand civics, we go, oh yeah, they at that again. But just like you said, right? Were people better under Trump? Were black? What you say, black men or black people?
Just black people. I'm not gonna steal your subject because I was listening that day.
Unfortunately, yes.
You think
How so?
Well, those
explain, and I don't know because a lot of like my brother.
You gonna let me explain?
My brother Jay English that was up here. I'm finna throw it to you. My brother Jay English that was up here the other day was talking about it, and we were having a conversation, and he was saying that a lot of the people, black people that own businesses and are in that realm that they thought they were doing
because
better.
He created opportunity zones. And they were able to take advantage of those loans to the banks and all that. On top of that, he changed the tax structure so that you actually took home more money and didn't have to pay out
So
the
you're
tax.
saying, what about the pandemic? You don't think the pandemic hurt businesses? That's why people are struggling more because of the pandemic?
No. They actually put 1.7 trillion. Listen to what I'm saying.
You think the pandemic?
You're gonna let me answer the question?
Okay.
They put $1.7 trillion into the economy. That's why we got inflation now. Is because had they simply let it go and let the businesses that were gonna fail, and the ones that were gonna make it, the way people talk about the economy, it would have been fine. But that's not what they did. They artificially pumped it up. Yeah. And that was the mistake Trump made, and that's why we.
I just think it's interesting that businesses think that they're not going to take a hit when every business across this country basically took a hit during the pandemic, and now we have inflation because.
Oh no, you're going to take a hit in January 25 when all the tax laws end. If you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. Tax rates are going back up.
Why? My question then is, because we're talking about black business owners, and so that essentially is the black elite. Why are the black elite placing their own, those that are supporting Trump, placing their own gain above that of the whole?
They're not.
As a whole,
that's an assumption.
As
you
a
make.
whole, if you're saying I'm going to support Trump, you have to realize as a whole, Trump is going to be negative.
That's your opinion
towards black people.
What happens is, if I make more money, I get to hire more people. I get to pass more money down. Like, we forget that other side of the equation.
So you believe in trickle-down economy?
I didn't say trickle-down economy.
That's what you just explained.
No, I did not. I said
if you make more money,
you're going to let me explain what I'm.
All right,
you're going to let me explain what I'm explaining. If I own a business and I make more money, I get to hire more people. Me, not trickle-down. I don't,
that is the definition of trickle down
is governmental,
economy.
But okay.
That is the definition. What you're saying is trickle down. You're trickling it down. Give me the money, and then I'll make sure y'all get it.
Well, it was a black.
And then I hire you and give it to you.
It was a black woman that was talking about her financial difficulties. She owned Gray Jet Cafe. She actually did work with us, and she told the truth about what she was going through, and she actually was invited to talk about it on Fox News, and so she spoke on that, and after she told her truth, the left attacked her.
Yep.
Attacked her so bad that now she doesn't even have a business anymore. And they protested outside her business.
Is that true?
Yeah, she used to be down. She used to be down by Marquette.
It used to be Great Jet Cafe.
No, let me finish.
She used to be down by Marquette.
Let me finish.
What's the name of the cafe?
No,
it used to be Great Jet. Now it's Jet Cafe or Great.
No. But regardless, let me tell you. Look, let me talk. Okay, what I'm saying is this is what happened to her. And this is her real story. Matter of fact, I went over there to see. See, I don't just say stuff because it was on. I went over there to see what was going on. They had people outside protesting her business because they didn't agree with what she said. And I think the conservatives used a lot of what she was saying to prove a point about, black businesses or whatever. But she has a right to say her truth. After that, she got attacked, and I saw the emails. I'm talking about liberals cussing her out, talking about they going to destroy her business and everything. I got the text messages and everything.
I didn't know that was a black woman that owned that.
Yeah, it was a black woman. Yeah,
it was a couple.
So at the end of the day, hold on. At the end of the day, she was attacked for telling what her truth was. And the thing is, it gets nasty because if you tell your truth and then somebody says, "Oh, let me use this," you know, the left or the right. You know, it's so nasty out here that they forgot that she was a single mother at the end of the day that was running a business, that was talking about what was going on, and now that is no longer there.
See, that's the nature of our politics, though. The heart is out of it. Everybody takes these hardline stances, and you can't, like we're sitting here, we all have different views. We all have different points on different things. We're able to have this conversation because we know each other, right?
Right.
That's gone from politics, where I don't think if you're going to say something, I automatically think what you're saying is super evil, and it's the most evil thing that you can say. But I don't
even
think
when it makes sense.
Even if it makes sense, that it's the most evil thing you can say, and so now you're evil when it's just we just disagree on that point. But we both have in our minds, and for us it would be the black community. We both have in our minds the benefit of how it's going to benefit the black community. We all want to get there, but we just taking different roads. And if you understand that when you're talking to somebody and you have that respect, then you can have that. But in the situation with her, they didn't even let her talk. Whatever it was, I don't know what she said, but it wasn't enough to make her lose her business.
Well, the thing is, I went over there and I saw it. Like, I saw what they was doing. So, at the end of the day, when you take your political stances it seems like everything that we talk about that's black end up being political anyway.
Right.
You could talk about a stoplight and it's gonna go to City Hall. You know, like I said, everything we do or raise a fuss about goes into the political scene.
Yeah.
And it didn't even start out political.
But everybody uses it for their benefit.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it.
And that's what destroyed her.
It's a volleyball that they use. They don't even care about her and her business. They're using it to do that.
But I disagree with Tori on one thing, right? So now we're not supposed to talk because we disagree on one thing. Now, we didn't talk about 50 things, but then somebody will find the one thing Tori said or the one thing Dr. Ken said. And what somebody, y'all must not like you. We were here talking about the cops or something one day. Y'all must not like each other. What?
But see, y'all have the intelligence to understand that that's a conversation y'all can have, and that doesn't mean that Dr. Ken is evil, the devil,
I'm mad.
or Tori is about to go.
But that's what you call emotional intelligence.
Right.
And when you have low emotional intelligence, everything is a battle. Everything is not a battle because if you're like if me and Benjamin don't agree.
Which is pretty much every day.
Which is fine, but let's say something happened to Benjamin. I'm going to be there.
110%.
And he knows that, and Ken knows that. And we all know that we're going to be, if something happens,
there's mutual respect.
We're going to make sure that it doesn't drag into how we feel about that person as a human being.
You know, and honestly, I just think it's just, especially in our communities, I don't know why, but maybe we don't see enough healthy conversations like this, because this is just a healthy discourse. That's all this is. You know, we all respect each other. We're finna do shows sometime in the future later on together. You know, and I respect everybody here at this table anyway. So
I guess overall for me, when I look at the state of the economy and you look at the numbers, I mean, you talked about the unemployment rate, the wealth gap has closed under the Biden administration as well. And just overall for me is that I just think the temperature of this country and what we have and the rhetoric that we have, I prefer not to have somebody, as we talked about police immunity. If you are marching and you're going to talk about police immunity, that ain't for me. Like I can't support somebody with that. If we're talking about closing borders, but then you have somebody that says don't do the bill because it can hurt me politically, that means you're not really working for my best interest. So for me overall, when I look at the black man, I know for a fact I thrived under this. The economy's at an all-time high, and I'm somebody who invests in the economy. So I've seen invest personally. I personally invest, but then on top of that, with my 401k that I have, and then with the stuff that I have outside as well, I've invested in the economy. And everybody here who has invested in the economy has seen themselves grow as well.
But more people like Trump's economic plan than Kamala's.
What is his economic plan?
Well, his economic plan, he's a businessman.
What is the economic plan?
Is it a concept? Okay. Wait, let me finish this.
Hang on. We can't because we're at the end.
We're at the end. We can't get
But no, let me make the point. I want to know
make your point.
I'd rather have,
you got about 30 seconds.
Have a businessman than a career politician.
But he had 4 years.
A career politician know how to get money for themselves. A businessman know how to get money for put money in your pocket.
What Trump did nothing to make
I would rather have somebody that shows empathy towards you.
No,
that's incorrect. I got to even say that. All the places and all the black churches he went to. Come on now. I'm just saying.
I think Donald Trump was
I want to say thank you to everybody. They gonna keep fighting and arguing and doing that, but they probably gonna go get a drink and
Yeah.
eat something too.
We got, 2 minutes?
Yep, we got about 2 minutes. Thank you for being here. Kyle Wallace, Dame, LZ, where you been, man? Where
I've
you
been
been?
here, man.
I know, I just
in the morning.
Holla at you.
Damn, trying to sell that
Benjamin.
chain. It's amazing.
Tory Lowe.
Hey.
DJ Brother Z, appreciate you, brother. Hey, God bless, take care. It is great being here. Thank you for beating me up on the talking text line and on YouTube. And,
Shout out to John.
Shout out to John trying to beat Kyle.
Hey, listen.
That's that liberal. That's that liberal.
Hey, everybody has that. Everybody got their right.
Make sure you keep that baby oil on the side.
I'm letting that go.
No,
I'm
everybody got a right to feel how they want to feel.
He said you need your dress retwisted.
Hey, I do.
He got them for you.
This is hilarious.
Hey, it's a full moon out.
Hey.
The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll